Hey guys! Okay, in exciting news, I have decided that I'm going to start a little video series for you guys. What this series is going to entail is tips and tricks and things that you would learn working at a bakery, things that you would learn in pastry school, ways to make it a lot easier and a lot less intimidating to bake at home. So that being said, so that we're all on the same page, I want to let you guys know a few things about me. One, I have zero patience. I'm like the least patient person in the world. Two, I hate measuring things. It just annoys me, but we'll see. We have to do it. Three, I was not like a very good science student. And four, I love to just wing it. Like I'm just a wing it kind of girl. But sometimes you gotta reel it in, okay? So I'm gonna teach you guys things that are super important. There will be shortcuts because your girl loves a shortcut, but I'm also just gonna get down to the fundamentals so that you can kind of understand what you're doing while you're doing it. So this first video, what I'm gonna talk about is a scale. Do you have a scale? If you don't, you probably need one. They seem kind of intimidating, or if you see a recipe that says like 4.5 ounces or even worse grams, or like, screw that, I'm not doing that recipe. But you guys, it's gonna help you if you can do a scale recipe. That didn't make sense, but you knew where I was going with it. Okay, so here in America or North America or, around these parts, almost every recipe for baking in a cookbook that's for like beginner or intermediate people, or if you find something on Pinterest, all the measurements are going to be volumetric measurements. That means a cup of sugar, a cup of flour, a tablespoon of powdered sugar. So we all have measuring cups at home. Usually your recipe is going to turn out okay, but if you start troubleshooting and wondering like why your cookies weren't the same way they were last time, or they don't look like the picture, or it's supposed to be chewy, one of the biggest problems could be that you are using measuring cups instead of measuring by weight. So what I mean by that is there are different weights, obviously, per every ingredient that you're going to use. So a cup of flour, all-purpose flour, is always 4.5 ounces. A cup of granulated sugar is always 7.1 ounces. A cup of powdered sugar is always 4 ounces. So I'll put a list of the most used ones, the most popular ones, just so that you can see. And you're thinking, okay, that's cool, but why does it matter? Well, the density of your ingredients is going to change over time. So if you have a bag of flour that's been sitting in your pantry for a year, all the little air particles that were once sitting in between the pieces of flour have shrunk or disappeared, and the density has gone way down. More dense, you guys. The whole point of the whole conversation is that it would be more dense. So if you just scoop out a cup of super fluffy flour, it's probably going to be closer to the 4.5 ounces. If you have flour that's been sitting there for a year, it's going to take way more to fill the cup. So what you need is a scale. You can get a super cheapy one. You can get a balance scale. I think this one was like 20 bucks. What you always want to do is turn the scale on and then put your bowl on it. Once you put the bowl on it, you're going to hit tare so that it goes to 0. Otherwise, it's going to be measuring the weight of the bowl along with whatever you're using, and that's definitely going to mess you up. So once you're tared out to 0, if you need 1 cup of flour, do 4.5 ounces. It's kind of fun to see if you want to then pour it into a cup and see if it was close to what the cup was or not. You can see how dense or how not dense your flour was. One thing I will say about a digital scale, or also a balance scale, you don't want to stack stuff on top of it. So if you leave stuff like a pile of bowls on top of it, or it's under a bunch of flour, like a bag sitting on it, you're gonna mess up the balance. how it actually works internally in the scale. So once you're done with it, even when you're done with the whatever you're measuring at the time, I like to just take it off, turn the scale off, and let it ride. So, okay, I thought I turned it off. So that is our first lesson, you guys. I don't want to overwhelm you, and I don't want these videos to be too long, but what we learned is that 1 cup of flour is not always technically 1 cup of flour. You could be putting even twice as much flour if you really pack that in there. So if your cookies are supposed to be chewy and they're actually coming out cakey, then it's probably because you have too much flour. And this is going to help you guys a lot. I hope these videos are going to help a lot. Leave a comment below and tell me if this was fun to watch. Let me know what other fundamentals you might want to know about. I'm going to try and go through it like I would if I were teaching a class. And let me know, do you use a scale? Are you stuck on the cups? Do you think you can do it? This is going to be fun! If I started a little series, I thought it would be super fun